going to test a couple of different scopes today. Basically just do some tracking on a target at 200 yards, and through the course of using them, maybe I'll make a decision as to whether one is a clearer optic than the other one. This is a Vortex Viper PST, 6-24 by 50 millimeter. It has a 30 millimeter tube. This is an Athlon Midas BTR, 4.5-27 by 50. Both of those are illuminated reticles, just different locations. Got the parallax adjustment here, illumination on the outside. On the PST, parallax is here, and the illumination is back on here. Over here at Vernon at 200 yards, to test these scopes, I have some bulbs down at the bottom. I've got one target for each scope, one for the Vortex, one for the Athlon. I'm going to shoot at that lower bullseye, and then I'm going to go right and up 4 MOA. These are exactly center to center, 8 inches, 8 inches on both sides. And then I'll do another 4 MOA left and up and see if we get centered on that. And then the final will be dropping down 8 MOA and see if that lands where it's supposed to be. The first test I'm going to do is find out whether or not you can adjust the parallax and actually have no movement of the crosshairs on the target. I'm not touching the gun at all. I'm just getting the scope perfect and then moving my head. And this Viper, you can set it so the crosshairs are not moving at all. The parallax is very good. Now I'm going to print a group on a target at 200 yards. This is a Remington 700 SPS 308. This is a 175 grain bullet going 2,742 feet per second. It's a Nosler Custom Competition boat tail hollow point. Just going to fire 4. That should give us an idea of where the center of the group is. Now I'm going to go up and right 4 MOA. So it should be at 200, should be 8 inches of up and right. This gun that this Athlon scope is on is a Remington 700 30-06. This is actually a 40X. Pretty accurate rifle. And one thing I noticed with the scope in adjusting the parallax was I got it so it wasn't moving, but I had to have it way up on infinity on the dial, and I noticed it wasn't quite perfectly clear, so I started to turn the ocular at the back of the scope here. And once I changed that, then I had parallax, so I had to go back and adjust it a second time. You can see that there is a little bit of wind. Look at the towel blowing back and forth here. That's to block the sun. I got to hurry up, get going before we get the sun right in my face. But yeah, it changed the parallax once I moved the ocular. So now I'm going to take some shots on the other target. Alright, now maybe the 308 has cooled down a little bit and I will make some adjustments. Okay, back to the 308. I have gone up 4 MOA and I've gone right 4 MOA. So that should equate to approximately 8 inches in each direction at the 200-yard target. I'm going to take some shots now and I will continue to aim at the same bull. We'll just see where the shots fall. I put circles on the target, which are where they should be falling, but we'll see. I thought that was pretty curious on the Athlon scope that once I adjusted the parallax, then I changed the ocular back here trying to clear it up some, it made the crosshairs move again. So I just tried it on the Viper PST, and I could barely see a little bit of movement with ocular out at what is perceived to be a little bit clearer, but it doesn't move anywhere near what the Athlon did. But I was able to correct it on the Athlon just by readjusting the parallax. So now we're going to continue on here. I'm pretty much using a free recoil method, which is barely touching the gun at all when I cut it off. Watch how much the gun kicks. This is a 308, so it's a little bit less than the .6, but the muzzle brake makes such an enormous difference. So I'm still aiming at the same bull, but I have moved it up 8 MOA, so I'm actually impacting 16 inches high. Now this is damn near free recoiling the gun. I'm not really applying hardly any force to the gun at all. With these scopes with this much power, even your heartbeat, you can see the movement. This 308 is very pleasant to shoot, and honestly a 175 going 2,742 feet per second, it's damn near what the .6 is doing. Okay, just moved up the .6, so I'm a total of 8 MOA up, and I will say that the power knob moves very nice on this Athlon, and also the turrets have very distinct clicks. They seem pretty nice. The parallax adjustment was a little more effort required to do that, but everything else is pretty nice. So I'm going to free recoil this gun also, and check out how much more this thing bucks, basically just because it doesn't have a brake on it. And I'm glad that this Athlon, and really the Viper also, has very good eye relief, because this thing is coming back. It's not beating me up too bad, but it's definitely got an awful lot of push to it. And I'd be wearing this right on my skull if I did not have a good amount of eye relief. Probably can see the gun jumping right off the bench because I am not holding it. In fact, I need to place it back on my blocks here. Bolts open. Pretty darn close to just free recoiling the gun. It is hopping pretty good. A lot of people don't like a brake when you got to be side of it shooting, but it makes it a hell of a lot nicer experience when you are shooting it, especially if you come to the range and burn 20 or 30 rounds. Alright, I can see the bulls on the target. I'm going to run down now and get a little bit of video of that before I move it back to the original bull down at the bottom. Okay, here we are at 200. This was the Remington 700-308 with the Vortex Viper. There's my 4 shots right there, as usual, about half MOA. And when I went up and right, the 4 MOA, I went 8 inches over, 8 inches up, it seemed to print a little bit higher. And then I went left 4 MOA and up another 4 MOA, and we came in close. It's right there. And so anyway, on the .6, I did not know where that gun was zeroed, so I made an adjustment, took a shot, and it hit up here. So this is actually not one of them, because then I made an adjustment, shot the 4, and went up and right, and that's beautiful. Up and right, I mean, it's exactly where it should be. And then it went a little bit high and barely left there. So it's like the first move, the Vortex was out, and then it was back to close. And the Athlon was on, and then it moved just a little bit. But now I'm going to mark these ones down at the bottom, and then I'm going to go back and move it to 16 MOA. Actually, it's 8 MOA, 16 inches down, and see if they land back in that original circle. So I'll mark these ones with a pen or something right now. Well, I cranked the 308 with the Vortex Viper PST back down to the baseline where I was to be zeroed at 200. And now let's see if it goes back to where it's supposed to be. Alright, now put the odd 6 back to 0 and see if that drops right in where they're supposed to be also. Almost hit me in the nose that time. I was really not contacting the gun hardly at all. This thing has a very light trigger. Fortunately, that went off where it was supposed to be pointed. Alright, let's go see what we got. Well, where did they go after I put them back to the beginning? You can see the original group was right here. 1, 2, 3, and then that little circle there. I pasted over them. That came back pretty close. I don't know if I threw that or what, but those are practically on top of one another. If you include that one, the center of the group is actually very close to the center of that one. That was the Vortex Viper PST. And on the Athlon, when I move that one back down, the original center of group I'm going to assume is this black mark right here, because 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the second center of the group is probably this mark here, and those were the 4 shots. This is all 200 yards, so it's pretty good, about 1 MOA. So it moved, maybe, I mean, that could have been wind, but really I don't think the wind changed that much, but the elevation is almost perfect. So it pretty much came back right on after, you know, shooting here, moving up and right 4, and then left and up another 4. That was actually a total of 8 MOA, so 16 inches from here up, and it moved, if you consider that the center, it moved 17.5. Over here, same thing, you know, it should have been 8 MOA, 200 yards should be approximately 16 inches for 8 MOA, and the Vortex Viper moved 16.5, so it's pretty good. I had laid these out so that these were 8 inches over, and that's for the movement to the left. The left to right is very good. Same here on the Athlon. It moved over 8 inches just like it should have. I did spend some time looking at a target that has a lot of marks on it and has been painted a bunch of times, and so it has some detail. You know, you can really see some small imperfections in the plate, and both of them, you know, when I adjusted them for my eye, this was 200 yards away, I really could not tell a difference in the clarity. They were both pretty much similar. So that's saying a lot for, you know, this scope. That the Athlon, I think the street price is about $589, somewhere around there. It's a Midas BTR. That's an MOA reticle. You can Google it yourself. And, you know, the street price on the PST 6-24 by 50 is, you know, somewhere around $750. So not much more that I can test on them without really going crazy, but that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with those results.